Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another game from Bad Deck Monday. This time we're going to be using everyone's favorite deck, Flipz. Of course, we just use a bunch of flippy attacks with Mew EX, namely Victini's V-Create and Gothitel's Doom Decree, and we see what happens. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bad Deck Monday is a weekly stream we do on our Twitch TV channel. So if you're not following us on Twitch TV, please do that so you can see when we go live. Usually it's Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 8 o'clock Central, where I live in Wisconsin. But yeah, it's a fun time, and it's really great. I communicate with the people in the chat. We get some music going, and it's generally a fun time. So if you haven't checked it out, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that. Now, as you can see, I started with a Mew, played an N, and I got a pretty garbage hand. So I'm thinking, all right, my only way to win is Chansey. Continuous Tumble. Now, if I flip 7 heads right here, we win the game. What's going to happen? Oh, okay, we flip 1 heads for 10 damage. So things obviously are not looking so hot right now. My opponent has a Darkrai deck. Historically, I do not do very well against Darkrai decks with the Flipz deck because, well, Victini's V-Create doesn't do very well. Night Spear stacks up pretty well against the 60 hit point Victory Star Victini and the V-Create Victini. Very easy to get cheap prizes. Mew EX only has 120 hit points. That works out really well with, 30 bench damage from Night Spear, and then a 90 follow-up for the knockout. But as we can see, this is not any old plain Darkrai deck from Donnie Darkrai 54 here. We saw a Krookodile from Dark Explorer, so this is going to be a deck with a twist, that is for sure. And, I'm going to go ahead and attach that energy to Chansey. And you can see my hand is pretty much terrible. I debate on whether or not to use this laser here, and I decided why not, let's just do it. Why not get some more flips involved? And alright, it works. Heads for the sleep, tails for the sleep check. Okay. Feel like a scumbag for doing that, but that's part of the game, I suppose. I've been on the losing end of that plenty of times, but alrighty, we top deck a Juniper. We're back in business. My opponent doesn't seem to have very much, so I think this could end up possibly going well for me, but again, Darkrai is pretty good, especially when I don't have my Gothitelle going. This could get pretty ugly pretty quickly. Now, I have a Prism Energy, and what that's going to allow me to do is, well, Mew EX has that ability Versatile, which allows you to use any attack in play. So, I can actually copy Sableye Junk Hunt if I wanted to. Maybe I'll do that at some point, get back to item cards. But another option here is actually using Mew's actual attack, which is very rarely seen. It's called Replace. So we're going to rearrange the energy on my board, move the DCE to the bench Mew, and then I'm going to move the Psychic from Chansey onto the active one. Now I've kind of spread out my energy to give myself some Mews attacking. I have one that can be used for Continuous Tumble, one that can be used to Junk Hunt. If I get another Prism, I could actually Night Spear, as weird as that is. Unfortunately, Darkrai does resist Psychic, so Night Spear probably not going to be the greatest. But I computer search for the Prism because I think it's so funny to be able to Night Spear with a Mew. I actually find that very entertaining. Doesn't seem like this should happen very often. Mew, if it's kept unchecked, is actually a super strong Pokemon. I mean, you can use attacks from anything. You can just take advantage of everything on board. The thing that holds it back is, of course, that 120 hit points on an EX Pokemon. Not very strong, weak to Psychic. So Mewtwo knocks it out very easily. It just never really survives more than 1 or 2 turns at most. But when it does, this thing goes nuts. It can do everything. And here, I'm going to go ahead and use Junk Hunt. Alright, so I get back 2 item cards. We're going to get a rare candy. And then I can get a catcher back to catch up the Darkrai, perhaps. Or I can get a level ball to ensure that I'll get my Victory Star Victini. I have Ultra Ball in hand. I can Ultra Ball for the Doom Decree Gothitelle. So we're going to be going for a Doom Decree next turn, unless that Sableye stays asleep again. Which it did, but he has a switch. So, I'm going to get Night Speared this turn. Not fun. Get hit for 90. And we'll see what he decides to target down with the 30. Hitting my other Mew for 30 would be pretty troublesome since it could be a catcher 4 prize in 2 attack. Kind of a situation that would be not very good on my end, but he decides to hit the Gothita instead. And this is probably the biggest turn of the game. I'm going to Ultra Ball for a Gothitelle here. Of course, we junk hunted for that rare candy, taking advantage of our opponent's Sableye. And this game is just pretty much going to show off the, very funny joke here, Kyle, but the versatility of Mew being able to copy everything on the field. And you can see why this card was very good the first time it was released, back in the Legend Maker set, when it won the Worlds back in 2006 with Jason Kozinski. The Mew Trick deck, Mew EX is largely an unchanged Pokemon, but enough of the history lesson. We're going to go for the big-time Doom Decree and double heads, instant knockout on that Darkrai. Kind of like the Pokemon video games when Fissure hits for a one-hit knockout. It always feels so dirty when it happens, but it's also the coolest thing ever. I don't know, what's your guys' favorite one-hit KO move? I think Fissure is kind of like the coolest one. Horn Drill is awesome. Of course, we have Sheer Cold, kind of the newer generation one. I don't like that one too much. But definitely between Fissure and Horn Drill in my book. But no matter what, we got a Doom Decree. We knocked out that Darkrai, and all of a sudden, we don't see any real threats on my opponent's board. And this Mew is somehow staying alive. It has 2 Prisms and a Psychic on it. We got another Mew in reserve. Got a Gothitelle waiting. My opponent puts down a Sandile. And, Dark Patches twice, kind of scary. And then a Bicycle. A Darkrai comes down. I don't know what's coming next. My opponent has kind of struggled throughout this game, so I do feel kind of bad for him. But this game is supposed to spotlight Mew, and we'll see what Mew can do here. Mewtwo gets all the glory. Mew doesn't get enough praise, and we'll see. This game can show off what Mew can do. So we got a switch, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach to my new Gothitelle. And once again, I'm going to use Junk Hunt, because I can get back 2 items. I don't feel particularly threatened by anything. I don't have anything to work with in my hand, so I'm going to grab a catcher and a switch, setting up for a big play next turn. Hope you guys are ready for what's coming next, because I don't think this will ever happen again in Pokemon. He does play a catcher, so I'm glad I grabbed that switch. That's actually the reason I grabbed the switch. So here we go, guys. Switch into Mew, catcher up Sandile, and I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball. Discard some worthless cards so I don't draw those if he plays an N. I've got to thin out my deck a little bit. Those are cards I won't need anymore. And are you guys ready for this? Mew, Night Spear. Knock out the Sandile and knock out the Sableye. Mew gets a double knockout with Night Spear. Alright, 2 Prisms on the Mew EX, copying Darkrai's attack. Take that, Darkrai. Nobody likes you in the first place. And we're sticking it right to him. And is Mew actually going to get a 6-0 sweep here? It looks like it might happen. We're going to play a level ball, look through the deck. There are no Pokemon with 70 hit points or less left, or 90 hit points or less in there. I don't know why I said 70. But here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and keep the train moving. Night Spear, I could actually copy pretty much every attack on the field. I actually literally could use any attack from any Pokemon on the field right now. And we're going to go with Night Spear. That's a pretty good one. Knock out that Sandile. And we're down to 1 prize. There's just 1 Pokemon standing in Mew's way for a clean 6-0 sweep with just this one little Mew EX. Whoever would have thought this could happen? So he does put down a Sandile. He's got 0 cards. And I could just sit here and Night Spear until I win, but this is Flipz. We got to do this the right way. It's got to end with a Doom Decree. So here we go. 2 heads, we need it. Nope, we get to reflip for the victory star, and no. Well. Well, at least we should have some more time. And he does draw and pass once again. So we get another shot here. And Doom Decree, 2 tails, and... oh, hey! 2 heads, alright. Take that, Darkrai. Mew, 6-0 victory for Flipz, which is still the greatest deck of all time. Granted, you can flip heads. So there you guys have it. Mew EX showing off its strength. A 6-0 victory here using Night Spear, Junk Hunt, Continuous Tumble, Doom Decree, all that good stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely had fun with that game. We'll have some more stuff for you soon. But until then, see you next time.